The edge screamed through the air, a weapon forged in the volcanic depths of Kilos Prime, sharp enough to split molecules. Commander Vera had seen such blades carved through starship hulls like tissue. The alien warrior wielding it stood 7 feet tall, her 4 arms moving in perfect synchronization, muscles rippling beneath scales that shimmered like oil on water. The human didn't move until the last possible moment. His hand shot up, fingers closing around the flat of the blade, mere inches from his skull. The weapon stopped, completely. The sound of impact echoed through the arena, a metallic ring that silenced the roaring crowd of 1,000 species gathered in the orbital coliseum. The warrior's eyes widened, all 3 of them. She pulled. The blade didn't budge. "Now you'll see why that was an error," the human said quietly. His name was Marcus Webb, and he was about to remind the galaxy what evolution on a death world really meant. The tournament had begun 3 cycles ago. The Galactic Council, in their infinite wisdom, had organized this event to settle a trade dispute between 12 systems. Blood sport as diplomacy. How civilized. But the rules were clear. Each civilization sent 1 champion. The winner's faction would control the disputed territories and their valuable mineral deposits. Most species had sent their finest warriors, genetically enhanced soldiers, or cybernetic killing machines. The Kelvin Dominion had sent Kara, the 4-armed executioner now struggling against a creature that shouldn't have posed any threat at all. Humans were new to the galactic stage, barely a century since first contact. They were weak, everyone knew. Their homeworld's gravity was laughable. Their natural weaponry was non-existent. No claws, no venom, no natural armor. Kara had studied the human beforehand. She knew his species required constant hydration, had fragile bones that broke easily, and skin that tore at the slightest provocation. She had expected this to be over in seconds. Instead, the human was smiling. Marcus twisted his wrist, and the blade shattered. Not bent, not cracked, shattered. Fragments of the supposedly indestructible alloy scattered across the arena floor like ice crystals. Kara stumbled backward, her remaining 3 hands reaching for backup weapons. "Don't bother," Marcus said, stepping forward. His movement was economical, precise. "This is already finished." The crowd erupted in confusion. In the VIP section, Ambassador Terran of the Kelvin Dominion slammed his appendage against the viewing screen. "Impossible. Our metallurgists forged that blade in temperatures that would vaporize his entire planet." Beside him, Earth's representative, Director Helena Cross, allowed herself a small smile. "You really should have done better research. That human is unarmed and unarmored." Terran hissed. "Our champion has 3 more weapons and combat training that spans decades." "So does mine," Helena replied. "The difference is where he trained." In the arena, Kara had drawn a plasma whip, its glowing coils capable of reducing most organic matter to ash. She lashed out, the weapon moving faster than most species could perceive. Marcus leaned back, the whip passing so close to his face that his hair moved in its wake. Then he leaned forward again, inside her guard, and drove his fist into her solar plexus. The impact sounded like a gunshot. Kara's armor, designed to withstand direct hits from military-grade plasma rifles, crumpled. She flew backward 20 feet, crashed into the arena wall, and slid down, gasping for air her lungs couldn't seem to find. Our scans indicated humans have minimal striking power. Terran was on his feet now, his scales flushing the dark purple of distress. Helena pulled up a holographic display. "Your scans were done on civilians, weren't they? People who live in our cities, work in our offices, eat processed food, and exercise maybe once a week if they're motivated. And this one? Marcus Webb grew up in the Australian outback. Do you know what that is, Ambassador? It's a desert that spans millions of square kilometers, where the summer temperature regularly exceeds 50 degrees Celsius, where almost everything that moves is venomous, and where water sources can be hundreds of kilometers apart. Helena's smile widened. He walked to school, 5 kilometers each way, in that heat, starting when he was 6 years old. Torrin stared at her. That's child endangerment. That's Tuesday. And before you ask, he did his military service in our special forces. Spent 3 years in jungles where the humidity makes your Kelvin swamps look like a pleasant vacation. And then joined the Rangers program specifically because he thought city life was too soft. In the arena, Kara had recovered enough to stand. She drew her final 2 weapons, energy blades that hummed with lethal force, one in each of her upper hands. Her lower hands formed into striking positions. She was done underestimating this creature. She attacked with everything she had. 4 limbs working in perfect coordination, centuries of martial tradition guiding every movement, energy blades that could cut through starship doors. Her people had conquered 40 systems through martial prowess. She would not lose to this soft, pink thing. Marcus moved like water. Every slash, every thrust, every strike found only air. He wasn't faster than her, not exactly. He simply wasn't where she expected him to be. His movements were efficient, minimal, wasting no energy. While Kara expended massive amounts of effort trying to land a single blow, Marcus conserved every ounce of strength. He's not even breathing hard, Torrin muttered, his voice hollow with disbelief. Humans evolved as endurance predators, Helena explained, enjoying this far too much. On Earth, our ancestors didn't have claws or venom or armor. You know how we hunted? We followed our prey. For days sometimes. We just kept walking, kept tracking, kept coming. Most animals can sprint faster than a human, but they can't run for hours in the heat. We can. We did. We walked our prey to death. Marcus ducked under a horizontal slash, stepped inside Kara's guard again, and this time his strike wasn't to her armor. His palm hit her elbow joint, and the crack echoed through the arena. One arm hung useless. Before she could react, he'd moved again, his foot sweeping her legs. She crashed to the ground, and his knee pinned her remaining mobile arm. Yield, he said simply. Kara tried to throw him off. It was like trying to move a mountain. The human was smaller than her, lighter than her, but when he set his weight, he became immovable. She struggled, muscles screaming with effort. Marcus just pressed down a little harder. I said yield. The arena had gone silent. Thousands of beings from hundreds of worlds watched a human, a species they dismissed as weak and irrelevant, dominate one of the galaxy's most feared warrior races. Kara's pride warred with her survival instinct. Finally, she tapped the ground with her functioning lower hand. 3 times. The universal signal. Marcus stood immediately, stepped back, and offered his hand to help her up. Kara stared at it for a moment, then accepted. He pulled her to her feet with surprising gentleness. You fought well, he said. Your technique is excellent. You broke my arm and shattered my blade, Kara replied, her translator converting her rasping speech into galactic standard. Yeah, sorry about that. Heat of the moment. He actually looked apologetic. The medical teams here are top-notch, though. You'll be fine in a few hours. As attendants rushed into the arena to escort Kara to the medical bay, the announcer's voice boomed across the Colosseum. Victory to the human champion. Earth advances to the final round. The crowd's reaction was mixed. Some species cheered, excited by the unexpected outcome. Others sat in stunned silence, recalculating everything they thought they knew about this newcomer species. In the VIP section, ambassadors from a dozen civilizations crowded around Helena. What augmentations does he have? Demanded the Regellian trade minister. None. Genetic modifications? He's baseline human. We don't even allow genetic modification for our athletes. We consider it cheating. Then how? The question came from Ambassador Torin, who had regained some of his composure. Our warriors train from birth. They're bred for combat across generations. How does a single human with no modifications defeat Kara? Helena considered her answer carefully. Ambassador, let me tell you about Earth. Our gravity is higher than 70% of settled worlds. Our atmosphere has more oxygen than most species can safely breathe. Our weather patterns are violently unstable. Our oceans are filled with predators that would terrify your nightmares. Our continents host creatures that kill for sport, plants that can poison with a touch, and diseases that evolve faster than we can cure them. She pulled up an image of Earth, that blue marble hanging in space, looking so peaceful from orbit. We evolved in constant competition with everything around us. Not just predators, but other humans. We fought wars over resources, territory, ideology. We built civilizations and tore them down and built them again. We went from stone tools to splitting atoms in less than 12,000 years. We're violent, stubborn, and we absolutely refuse to quit, even when quitting would be the smart choice. Helena zoomed the image in, showing cities sprawling across continents, lights glittering against the darkness. You asked how Marcus defeated Kara? It's simple. She trained to fight. Marcus trained to survive. And on Earth, survival means being harder than everything trying to kill you. Down in the arena, Marcus was being escorted out by security, per protocol. He waved at the crowd, smiled like this was all just a friendly competition, and